Yes, the stomach acid is very important to kind of make that bolus the right pH that it will move through, but in a lot of cases, there are invaders that we have to deal with. Maybe someone has a bacterial overgrowth in the stomach, like an H. pylori issue, or some type of SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or some yeast, mold, fungal type overgrowth situation. A lot of these varmints put out waste type products that are alkaline. So they could be further alkalizing this whole tract and making things move through a whole lot slower. They have the ability here in the stomach to neutralize acids that your stomach might be making. So that can reduce your ability to acidify your food, and then things are going to move slow, and when they come out here, they're going to be more alkaline. They're not going to be acidic enough to trigger the cholecystokinin to say, hey, it's time to get everything into action. So it makes sense that these things would go slower when that acid is not there. Another thing we need to understand is that the acid doesn't just help us acidify the food, it's the barrier that keeps all the bad guys that are coming in on the food that we're eating. They're supposed to die in an acid bath. So when we don't have enough stomach acid, which can happen for a lot of reasons, now they're coming in, they're setting up camp, they're having a keg party, it's a really great time. Let's look at this study on dysmotility and PPI use are independent risk factors for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And they say that the majority of patients in this study, 76% with dysmotility, had SIBO, SIFO, or a mix of both. Similarly, 75% of patients on PPI therapy had cultures that were positive for bacteria and or fungal organisms. So they're showing us that when we turn off stomach acid like we're using a PPI, it just opens the front door and then a lot of these bad guys can come in. But keep in mind that somebody doesn't need to be using a PPI or a proton pump inhibitor that turns off stomach acid. This is a medication they use for acid reflux a lot. Someone doesn't need to be on a medication like that. There's lots of things that can restrict a person's ability to make that hydrochloric acid correctly. So in that study, they're looking at, is dysmotility caused by PPI use or slow motility, or is it a combination of things? But you can see that slow motility can be caused by a lack of acid, which allows the SIBO or whatever kind of bacterial overgrowth to come in and set up camp. And then all of those things could create the slow motility. So it might be common to see all those things together, but is one really causing the other?